Okay, my dear listeners, learners, and viewers, today I'll discuss the classifications of certain sentences in accordance with the structure. Before starting the main point, I would like to say something regarding the sentence. What does a sentence indicate? Yes, sentence indicates some meaningful words which express a complete idea. I am repeating, sentence is basically a group of words which express a complete idea. For example, education aims at developing our mind and body. Life is not a bed of roses but a bed of thorns. Education removes all sorts of ignorances from the society. So, these are the instances of sentences. I am giving more examples of sentence. Kalam watches TV in the room. Mina is writing a letter, etc. Okay, so these are the instances of sentence. My dear listeners and viewers, it is noticeable that a sentence generally contains two parts. First of all, subject, and secondly, predicate. Okay, subject indicates doer or performer of an action. In other words, you can say that the action which is done by someone is called subject. Okay, and predicate indicates the information which is given about the subject is called predicate. For example, Kalam watches TV. Here, Kalam is the subject and watches TV is predicate. Similarly, Mina writes a letter. Mina here is the subject and writes a letter is the predicate. Okay. Now, my dear listeners and viewers, it is noticeable that sentence is generally classified into 5 categories. Now, I am giving the categories one by one. So, notice here very carefully so that you can obtain a little knowledge regarding the sentence. Okay. First of all, assertive sentence. And it is noticeable that assertive sentence can be divided into 2 categories. First of all, affirmative sentence, and last of all, negative sentence. Okay. Number 2, interrogative sentence. Number 3, imperative sentence. Number 4, optative sentence. And last of all, exclamatory sentence. Okay. So these are the 5 categories of sentence. Now, my dear listeners, viewers and learners, it is noticeable that sentence is also classified into 3 categories in accordance with the structure. Now I am telling the categories one by one. So observe here very carefully. Notice here very carefully. Okay. First of all, simple sentence. The sentence which contains only one subject and one finite verb is called simple sentence. Okay, I am repeating. The sentence which contains only one subject and one finite verb is called simple sentence. Finite verb indicates the verb which is limited to its own person, gender, number, tense, voice, mood, aspects, etc. is called finite verb. Okay. Now, my dear listeners and viewers, I am giving some instances of simple sentence. By working hard, you will prosper in life. Similarly, by eating balanced diet, you will become safe and healthy. Okay, so these are the instances of simple sentence. Now, my dear listeners and viewers, I am giving some signs of simple sentence. You know, every sentence contains its own sign. Now I am giving the signs of simple sentence. At the age of, at the time of, present participle, by plus gerund, without plus gerund, due to, owing to, dot 2 plus verb 1. Okay, so these are the signs of simple sentence. Now, my dear listener and viewers, I am giving some instances following such kind of signs. By working hard, you will prosper in life. Without drinking pure water, you will not keep well. Similarly, without eating balanced diet, you will not keep well. Kalam is too weak to work in the field. Okay, so these are the instances of simple sentence. Now, my dear listeners and viewers, I am giving the definition of compound sentence. This sentence which contains two coordinate clauses and these clauses are connected to and but or not only but also etc is called compound sentence. For example, he went to market and bought some books. Read the book or you will not pass in the exam. Kalam is rich but miser. Mammon is not only rich but also liberal minded. Okay, so these are the instances of compound sentence. Now, my dear listeners and viewers, I am giving the definition of complex sentence. Please observe here very carefully so that you can take some advantages from my lesson as well as you can obtain some knowledge from my lesson. Okay. Anyway, this sentence which contains one principal clause and one or more than one subordinate clauses is called complex sentence. Okay. Now, there are some signs of complex sentence. First of all, WH words. For example, who, which, what, where, whom, why, whose, etc. Then, if plus positive, if plus negative, so plus adjective plus that, since, as, although, though, till, until. Okay, so these are the signs of complex sentence. Now, my dear listeners and viewers, I am giving some instances using these signs. Please observe here very carefully. When he went to market, he bought a book. Although he is rich, he is miser. Kalam is so weak that he cannot walk in the morning. Mammon is so dull that he cannot understand the math. If you work hard, you will prosper in life. If you do not work hard, you will not get money. Okay, so these are the instances of complex sentence. Now, my dear listeners and viewers, I am telling some rules of changing the sentences from complex to simple one. Okay, so please notice here very carefully. If any complex sentence starts with when, and if there is an indication of time, and if we want to make it simple sentence, then first of all, we have to start the simple sentence with present participle. Okay, I am repeating. If any complex sentence start with when, and in this respect, if you want to make it simple one, then we have to start the sentence with present participle. Instead of when plus subject, we have to start the sentence with present participle. Okay, and the rest of the sentence will remain intact. For example, when he went to market, he bought some books. Simple. Going to market, he bought some books. Similarly, when he finished the work, he went out. Simple. Finishing the work, he went out. Similarly, when he closed the door, he started reading the novel. Simple. Closing the door, he started reading the novel. Okay. Now there is also another rule. If the complex sentence start with when and if there is any indication of is. In this respect, if we want to make simple sentence, we have to use at the age of instead of when. We have to write down at the age of, okay, at the beginning of the simple sentence. Then you have to use subject, and then the rest of the sentence will remain intact. For example, when Jerry was 4, he came to the orphanage. Simple. At the age of 4, Jerry came to the orphanage. Similarly, when Kalam was 80, he died. Simple. At the age of 80, Kalam died. Okay. Now, my dear listeners and viewers, it is noticeable that if the complex sentence start with when and if there is any indication of continuous tense, meaning that it may be present continuous or past continuous, and in this regard, if we want to make simple sentence, then instead of when, we have to write down at the time of. Okay. For example, when I was sleeping, Kalam came to me. Simple. At the time of my sleeping, Kalam came to me. Okay. Similarly, when I was reading, he came to me. Simple. At the time of reading, he came to me. Okay. Now, my dear listeners and viewers, it is noticeable that if there is any indication of season in a complex sentence, meaning that if the complex sentence starts with when and if there is an indication of season, in this respect we have to write down in at the beginning of simple sentence. Okay, and the rest of the sentence will remain intact. For example, when it was winter, he visited his father. Simple. In winter, he visited his father. Okay. Now, my dear listeners and viewers, I am giving some more rules, and please observe here very carefully so that you can obtain profound knowledge on the changing of sentences. Okay. Now, my dear listeners and viewers, it is noticeable that if the complex sentence start with although or though, and if you want to make simple sentence, in this respect, instead of although or though, we have to use in spite of. Then we have to write down the possessive form of subject. Then we have to write down being. If the sentence contains be verb, meaning that am, is, are, was, were, in this respect we have to write down being. And in respect of main verb, we have to write down verb plus ing. Okay, and the rest of the sentence will remain intact. Now I am giving some instances following such kind of structure. Although he is rich, he is miser. Simple. In spite of his being rich, he is miser. Okay. Although they have property, they are misers. Simple. In spite of having their property, they are misers. Okay. Now, my dear listeners and viewers, I am telling another rules. If the complex sentence start with since or as, and if we want to make it simple one, then we have to use the sentence by using because of. Then we have to write down possessive form of the subject. Then we have to write down being, and the rest of the sentence will remain intact. For example, since he is weak, he cannot walk in the field. Simple. Because of his being weak, he cannot walk in the field. Similarly, although he is ill, he attended the meeting. Since he is ill, he cannot attend the meeting. Simple. Because of his being ill, he cannot attend the meeting. Okay. Now, my dear listeners and viewers, I am giving some more rules. Please notice here very carefully so that you can achieve a little knowledge regarding the changing of sentences. Okay. Now, if the complex sentence start with if plus positive, and in this regard or in this respect, if we want to make a simple sentence, then instead of if plus subject, we have to start with by plus gerund. Okay, and the rest of the sentence will remain intact. For example, if you work hard, you will prosper in life. Simple. By working hard, you will prosper in life. Similarly, if you eat balanced diet, you will become healthy. Simple. By eating balanced diet, you will become healthy. And it is noticeable that if the sentence start with if plus negative, and if you want to make it simple one, then we have to write down without plus gerund. Okay, and the rest of the sentence will remain intact. For example, if you do not drink pure water, you will not become safe and healthy. Simple. Without drinking pure water, you will not become safe and healthy. Similarly, if you do not work hard, you will not shine in life. Simple. Without working hard, you will not shine in life. Okay. Now, my dear listeners and viewers, I am giving some more rules. If the complex sentence contains so plus adjective plus that, and if you want to make it simple sentence, in this respect, instead of so, we have to use to, and instead of that, we have to use to plus verb 1. Okay, and the rest of the sentence will remain intact. For example, Kalam is so weak that he cannot move in the field. Simple. Kalam is too weak to move in the field. Similarly, he is so weak that he is so poor that he cannot help me. Simple. He is too poor to help me. Similarly, Mina is so dull that she cannot understand the math. Simple. Mina is too dull to understand the math. Okay. So, my dear listeners and viewers, last of all, I would like to say that you have gathered profound knowledge regarding the changing of sentence. I think that you have achieved profound knowledge about the changing of sentences. So, let us finish today. Allah Hafiz. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.